Hey guys, so this is gonna be a review of the Typo glitter paint. Now, how I came about this was I was looking for a top coat, and where I usually get my top coat, they didn't have any in stock. So it's kind of one of those ones where I need to look for a shimmery one. And then I saw this and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do an experiment. This is either gonna ruin my painting or it's gonna enhance it. So I decided, you know what, this could make a good top coat. So they have different colours. I think they have a purple one and another colour. This one looks to be like they're light blue. So first off, the texture of this, it's very thick. It reminds me a little bit like glue, and it does have that blue, but when you apply it, it's a lot more like paler than it is actually in the tube. So if you are going to use this as a top coat, you will have that blue, you will see that kind of bluish haze or whatever color you choose, depending on like the lighting and everyone depending on the lighting. So it is not, obviously it's not 100% clear. You will see that tint whatever color you choose. Now I've used this as a top coat, and I have used it to try and use it as paint. So as a top coat, it works really well. The glitter applies really well on the canvas. It blends really well, and it just adds that kind of that shimmery, kind of over top shimmery kind of look. When it comes to obviously a top coat actually working as a top coat, I won't 100% know in the future, but if you do want to kind of be 100% sure, you can then apply a proper actual made top coat for your painting. Say if you somebody who sells your work or something like that. But yeah, as like an everyday top coat for your work that you just display for yourself at the minute, I'd find, it's work good. I will say the reason why I think it works better is kind of a topper opposed to kind of on top of like, just directly as paint, is that because obviously, as I said, the color isn't as pigmented as you probably would want if you were applying it directly to paint like an object or whatever you've drawn. Basically, I have tried using this on beads, and as I said before, the texture is quite thick, so it does take a bit of drying time, especially if especially if you're not using it as a top coat and you're trying to get as much glitter onto whatever object you're painting on. It does take a while for it to dry. It dries fairly well as a top coat when I've done it on canvas, because as I said, I'm just using it as a top coat, so it doesn't need to be, I don't need to have that really pigmented kind of blue on it. I can just do one thin coat and then it's fine. But overall, yeah, I do really enjoy it. It does say at the back, use on a clean prime surface. No. So there's not much instructions on it. I did find more detail online, not even on their website, on someone else's website that was selling this. But it's basically, that description basically does kind of push towards the fact that it's more of kind of like a top coat to add shimmer to your work. But as I said before, if you want a top coat, an actual product that says it's 100% a top coat and it's going to protect your work from water or other stuff, and then you can obviously apply a top coat on top of this. But this is a good one to add shimmer to your work. I wouldn't necessarily rely it to kind of use it as a painting, like as direct paint on your work, but more of to kind of like add a coat of glitter to your already completed work, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's it for this review, so bye guys.